All right, so we've been listening to Officer Pamela Romero. She's the one who failed to read Bahina Rivera his Miranda rights. And what we've heard her say so far is that she only spoke in Spanish with him. She says that she showed him the interview room, unlocked the door, and told him he could leave at any time. She said that at this time he was not a suspect, really. She said that she didn't know the blood spots were in his car, pieces of her hair. She said that she didn't give him the Miranda warnings at the beginning of the interview because he wasn't officially in custody. That didn't come later until detainer was issued to him, which I'm guessing was after they discovered that there was blood in his car and traces of Mollie Tibbets' hair. So this is the officer that questioned him and, as I said, failed to give him his Miranda rights. Let me intro my guests right now since we have not talked to them yet. Anna Yum, criminal defense attorney, as well as Latonia Hines, prosecutor, are with us today. Thank you both for being here. Latonia, I'll come out to you first. What is the significance of her answering these questions and telling us about this process? Obviously, I'm guessing she is going to be one of the most important people we hear from in this hearing.
So when it comes to Miranda rights, just so that everybody understands how that works, Miranda rights are not required to be read.
Latonia, I have to cut you off. We're going to switch gears back over to Henry Segura's trial. I'm told right now that Washington is on the stand and he is refusing to testify. Let's go listen live. All right, so that is Gregory Washington. We know he was the inmate and confidential informant here that worked with police to elicit a confession from Demario Paramore. And Paramore told him that he committed the murders with a man named Haywood Griffith. So right now, basically, he's saying that he doesn't want to be on camera. He's saying that he told the defense team about his issues. He referenced that he hates that his name's been out in the news, how this has caused wear and tear on his family, and he's saying he is not going to testify. Latonia Hines, what do you make of this?
Wow, it's kind of crazy. It's a crazy, this case has been all over the place from the first trial, and now we've got this alternate theory that's been going on, and now he doesn't want to testify. So it kind of throws a wrench in the defense plan, but then at the same time, the defense, as the judge talked about the fact that he does have his prior sworn testimony from the original trial. The question is he truly unavailable, and is there some way to be able to use that testimony for purposes of this trial? I'm not quite sure what the defense does now.
Right, and speaking of the defense attorneys, I'm told, are asking for his testimony from the first trial to be admitted to be used instead. Anna Yum, you're a criminal defense attorney. I mean, what do you do if this is your client here?
You know, Angelica, I don't think the defense attorney has much of a choice right now. He has to use the prior sworn testimony because at the end of the day, Washington is concerned about the adage of snitches get stitches. He's concerned about his safety. He's concerned about his family's safety. And of course, the fact that he believes his family's safety is compromised just in light of all the media attention that this case has been garnering. So at the end of the day, I think the defense attorney has to rely upon the sworn testimony only because that's the only information and that's the only evidence he's going to get. The judge has made it pretty clear, I'm not going to compel this witness to testify. And what is the judge going to do? Even if you were to compel him, the guy's already in custody anyway. So he doesn't really have much of an incentive to say anything at this point. I think the defense has to run with what they have, which is the sworn prior testimony.
All right, so we are listening to Marquise Davis right now. He says that he lived parallel across the street from Brandy Peters. He says that his girlfriend was best friends with her. The kids came over all the time and the kids played together. The night of this murder, he says that Javante and the twins ate dinner at his house that he cooked, and they stayed over there for about 45 minutes or so. He's going on to describe a little bit about what he saw that night at their house, possibly, I think he said, a dark SUV. He says he wasn't really familiar with Segura, but he was more familiar with Brandy, had known who Segura was, but that really was the extent of their relationship. So let me bring in my guest right now, Anna Yum. What do you make of this witness? Where are they going with these questions, do you think? I know we haven't heard everything yet, but what do you think?
I think what the defense is doing is they're trying to lay the foundation for the timeline here to establish, okay, what time were the kids eating? Was Brandy there at the neighbor's house? What happened after the fact? I think he's trying to show, by virtue of a neighbor, someone who doesn't really have any skin in the game, to say, listen, I made dinner, I saw the kids, I left to drop off food elsewhere, and I came back at around 8:30 to 9. I saw a black or dark blue Suburban in the driveway. So I think that what they're doing is, again, laying that foundation, establishing the timeline that pitches into their story that they're going to be selling to the jury during their closing argument to establish when Segura was there and what the neighbor had to say with respect to what happened right before the alleged murders happened.
Right, absolutely. And it's interesting because the first neighbor we heard from, Darius, he said that he didn't even hear gunshots or anything like that. So it's great that we're getting a different perspective from Marquis here. We got to take a quick break, though. Anna, thank you. We'll be right back after this. Stay with us.